Now, William Hague, I think I'm right in saying that you were Foreign Secretary in 2014. Do you think that the government should have acted more certainly back then?
Well, I think you can always learn from hindsight when there's been a catastrophic war. Would we do all the same things? Would we do things differently now? Definitely, we would do things differently. But give the UK some credit here. You know, if we take last year, it was the UK that warned the Ukrainians of the attack, along with the United States, and gave them thousands of anti-tank weapons before the attack. That made a crucial difference. And back in 2014, we were on the hard end of imposing sanctions on Russia. We were telling the rest of Europe they have to wean themselves off Russian gas. It's true, Western policy at that time, for years after that, was to try to get Putin down the path of a reasonable peace rather than a permanent war. Now, did we know enough to go down a different path then? I'm not so sure. So we could learn, but hindsight is always a very advantageous thing, isn't it?
Well, of course, and the other thing that Richard Shirreff said, that there's 2014. That's one argument, and then the other argument is that in 2022 we should have actually put a little bit more firepower, literally, behind our words, and that he says we wouldn't be where we are now, which is grinding away. They're grinding away at this war, which he says is going to go on for up to 3 years.
Yeah, well, this is a terrible prospect, and he might well be right about that. And here I have a lot of sympathy with what he's saying. I'm not, again, it's hindsight to say what should have been done on the 25th of February. But some of us have been arguing for months. I've written in the Times about how really, crucially, the Ukrainians need longer range missiles, specifically a thing called the Army Tactical Missile that the United States possesses. Because the Russians now keep their ammunition dumps and a lot of and their headquarters and so on just out of range of the missiles that the Ukrainians have, and they are relying on those missiles not getting longer range. So that is it's very important to change that now.
Kezia Dugdale, do you agree with Richard Shirreff that perhaps we didn't do enough for whatever reason?
I'm with William. I'm not entirely sure what this achieves to look back at what might have been in the past. I'm far more concerned now about what might happen if support for what we're doing in Ukraine fractures, either within the United Kingdom and the public looking at the money that's being spent on defence, or indeed amongst the politicians across Western Europe who might not have the stomach for the length of the conflict that we look like we're now faced with. I'm not entirely sure that his comments assist with that need to stay united and stay focused on the ultimate prize, which is to push Putin back and to end his reign.
The other thing, of course, that he said, though, Kezia, was that, even when this ends, however it ends, Ukraine is never going to be safe from Russia while Vladimir Putin is in power.
I think that's fair, and as a consequence, we might not be safe unless we do our bit to ensure that the boundaries that Putin operates in and that Russia face are as limited as they possibly can be. It could be that this is a conflict that we'll be faced with throughout our adult life with different variations of strength, and that's just what we have to do in order to keep the peace.